Welcome everyone. Today is Monday, July 14th. This is day one, week 15 of Hotel Evening and Weekend Platoon. And today we are going to cover, let me share my screen real quick. I think that's right. Can everyone see it? We're going to cover nested models with DRF.
Yep, I see it.
Yes?
Yep.
Alrighty. So before we dive into the nitty gritty of the code and jumping into this, nested models with DRF. We're going to cover, obviously, as I just said, nested models, and then creating serializers in nested models, which is really just creating models the right way, the same way, and serializers the right way is just we're going to nest them, right? And implementing views for nested data. But the whole reason why we're learning about nested models with DRF and nested serializers, it just nested data is so you eventually build data in a hierarchical, I can never pronounce that word properly, structure. Why do you think that would be helpful if we build out all our data in this kind of hierarchy? Why do you envision that might be helpful?
It'll be easier to troubleshoot problems in the code. Uh, uh, makes it more modular.
Yeah, it makes it more modular. It makes it easier to troubleshoot it, right? It also organizes everything. And the key thing here is it optimizes your API calls. For example, we're going to use the Pokemon example, the Pokemon API. And if I ping the Pokemon API with a query parameter of Pikachu, it sends me all the Pikachu information, right? Yes?
Yep.
And amongst this plethora of Pikachu information, it sends me its move, its images, its evolution forms, a bunch of data, right? But if under moves, under Pikachu and under moves, right, it just sent me indexes of their moves. And it didn't tell me exactly what their moves were, what their power was, what their damage was, all this extra information. I would have to make another API call to that specific Pikachu move to get that information, right?
Yep.
So if that information wasn't structured, I would have to make more API calls. So the whole idea between structuring all your data and storing it, it's a matter of efficiency, right? One API call is much cheaper than two or three or four or five. Make sense?
Yep.
It's ultimately about user experience, but it actually goes deeper than that, right? You don't want a user to be waiting a long time to retrieve the data that they requested, but ultimately, right, it's just really just about money, right? If you can limit the number of API calls, right, you're going to save money, your profit margins are going to be bigger, right? So this whole idea of data storage optimization, right, and application optimization is really, really important for that reason. Make sense?
Yep.
So when you ping an API, right, and you pass query parameters, that's another way of optimizing the data. Because you're not saying, hey, don't give me all the Pikachu information, or don't give me all 151 original Pokemon, right? Just give me Pikachu and give me its moves. That way I don't have to ping all the Pokemon, look, parse it to Pikachu, then parse the moves. And if they're IDs, then do another API call. No, go straight to Pikachu, go to its moves, go to Electric Shock if I want it. Tell me what the damage is. That's a really efficient call as opposed to making multiple calls to that database. Make sense? Okay. So, so back to this. Nested models with DRF. This overview already gave you the overview on why it's important. We're going to be using end of day 9, the Pokemon branch. So if you go here, you guys know how to read this, right? Where it says end of day 9. All you have to do is go code. You can clone it. But remember, when you clone it, it's typically going to give you a main. So then you do a git fetch all, git check out, end of day 9. Or you could actually, you could have just done git check out, end of day 9. You don't have to fetch all. You could just fetch the one that you want. Because if I go here, I haven't actually even looked. There's probably more than one. Yeah, there's a bunch of them. Look at that. End of day 5, 6, 9, J changes. You don't, if you get fetch all, you're going to grab all of them. And that's totally fine. But you only need end of day 9 for this specific lesson. All right, so nested models, we already talked about efficiency, so I'm not going to go over this. This is just an example of the models if we didn't nest them, right? Here, we would ping Pikachu. Here, we would ping Charmander, right? And the moves would be IDs, right? But if we needed to know more information about those specific moves, the names, the kind of damage that they incur, then we'd have to make another API call, right? So we're not going to do that, right? We're going to nest the models. We're going to nest the serializers. So when we ping this specific Pokemon in their move, we get all the information that we need. All right, so by using nested models, we can access related moves for each Pokemon in a single API request. That's kind of what I was saying earlier, right? You want to get all the information right off the bat. You don't want to have to make more than one API call. All right, so let's talk about serializers. What's a serializer used for? It's that first line right there, just in layman's terms. What does a serializer do? If I didn't give you a big paragraph of what it did, how would you explain it to someone in simple terms?
It takes the data and puts it into JSON.
Yeah, or it just transforms it in whatever it is that you need, right? Because a serializer can change it into binary too if you need that, right? So it just changes, right, the format of the data into whatever it is that you need, right? And then it changes it back, right? You can serialize it, you can deserialize it, right? All right, that's all you need to know about serializers. All right, so here's how you would create serializers in an application that use Pokemon and move models. So you can even follow along. Actually, I have it loaded. I can just follow along with you as well. Right? So under move app, right, you create a file called serializers, right? And you can literally just copy paste this, right? This is move serializer, model serializer, right? As model move, and then the fields, ID, name, and power, right? But the second thing is what makes it really important. Under Pokemon app, and this is where the nesting of serializer comes in, and then the nesting of the models is exactly the same. Watch what's different between this one. You go into your Pokemon app, you name it the same thing, serializers.py. You import everything that you need. What do you notice in the second half of this right here? It's almost identical except for what?
It add moves to Pokemon, to the
Yeah,
Pokemon data.
yeah, exactly. It adds the move serializer moves and makes it an ID here within the fields of that specific Pokemon serializer. Notice the key word there, moves, right? So you effectively nested the move serializer inside the Pokemon serializer. Why is that? Because a Pokemon has many moves. Yes?
Yep.
You could have also, we don't do it here, but this could have also easily been a serializer, right? It could have been levels because a Pokemon has many levels, right? If you don't know that, that's okay. If you've never played Pokemon, you might not know that. But yes, a Pokemon starts at level 1 and it can go to level 100, at least in the original game. I don't know if they've changed it, right? All right, so in this example, we're using Move Serializer as a nested serializer within Pokemon Serializer, and you see that here. So the many true argument indicates that there can be multiple moves for any single Pokemon. And by adding read-only true attribute, we can present related data for viewing, but not for updating or creating via that specific API. So this tells you, hey, you can read these moves. But if you ping that same API, we don't want you to update them. Make sense? Because this is
Yep.
normal get. This isn't like a post request or a put request. It's just a normal get. for this endpoint. All right. All right, so this read-only true setting can be useful when you want to represent nested information for display, but you don't want to modify the nested data, right? This might be necessary to ensure data consistency due to the complexity of nested relationships. You typically don't want to edit nested data from the get endpoint. That's all that this is saying. However, the flexibility of Django REST framework allows you to tailor your API capabilities according to user needs. Even though we had made moves read only in this serializer, it doesn't mean that the moves can't be updated or deleted elsewhere in our API. The only thing that this is saying is, hey, just don't use this endpoint to update, but you can use another endpoint to specifically edit those moves. Make sense?
Yep.
This is just reading. So you can create an identical serializer without the read-only setting for another endpoint and then allow any of the CRUD operations, right? Post, put, delete even. All righty. Creating a view for get requests. Now let's modify the get method of all Pokemon view. So you see this? You're importing serializers, Pokemon serializers to all Pokemon, right? And for the gets, right? You notice that you're going to get what? Which Pokemon are you going to get?
All of them.
You're going to get all the Pokemon. It's going to be read only, right? And since you're getting all Pokemon, you're also going to get their respective what?
Moves.
Yes. Why?
Because you have that because you have the mini true is already placed within that Pokemon serializer. So that mini true is basically pointing to the moves.
Yeah. Right. Your Pokemon serializer class already has a nested move. And that's essentially what today's lesson is. Right. So you're grabbing the Pokemon and you're grabbing their moves and then you're returning all of them. Right. So when you query it in this manner, right, you're going to notice that, hey, for Charizard ID 1 in moves, if you only had one, you're going to get that move. ID 1 psychic power 8, right? And that's how you get it. So by using nested serializers, you're able to include detailed information about the related move objects. Now, this guy only had one move here, right? But you could easily make a post request to it and add, ID 2, Fire Blast, Power 120, or whatever the case may be, right? So by using nested serializer, you're able to include detailed information about the related move objects directly within the serialized Pokemon objects, instead of just including a list of move IDs. Again, it saves you an API call or more than one. This makes the JSON response more informative and easier to understand, as it provides a complete picture of the data without requiring additional API requests. It's important to note that the structure of the JSON response can be customized to meet your specific needs. Now, if we go to this right here, we can go to Move App, we can go to Serializers, right? This is my Move Serializer here, and it feels as an ID, name, and a power, right? But if I go to Pokemon app and I go serializers, what am I going to see? We talked about it just now. This is just a move, right? But many Pokemon, right? Pokemon have many moves. So if I go to serializer in Pokemon app, that's going to be what we had earlier, right? Pokemon serializer, right? Move serializer, make a move, one of my fields, right? Yes?
Yep.
Okay. What if we wanted to create another one? Right? So this is what? This is move, right? How would you go about creating another one?
Another move or another move? Is that the question you're
No,
asking?
let's give them something else. Here,
Oh, okay.
let's look at this. So this is just move.
Right.
This is
Level.
move app,
Let's do
right?
levels.
We could do levels, right?
Okay.
So here, levels app. All right. Inside of levels app, I'm going to have a what?
You're gonna have a models.py and serializes.py possibly.
Models,
Mm-hmm.
serializers.py. All right. So models, I can actually just look at the move app, right? Look at
Mm-hmm.
the move app, look at models, right?
Yeah.
This is this is the move models,
Mm-hmm.
right? But if I wanted to make something super easy, I go to models, right? I put this, and what do I want this to be? Can I just put level?
Level. Yep. Because the
Well,
Django will automatically pluralize it.
okay. What do I want for the level to be?
Uh, well, you can do low level, I guess, like or minimal level and then max level.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
could get real fancy right there, right? But right
Mm,
now, I'm actually not trying to get too fancy.
okay.
Let's do, let's try to keep it real simple, right? Blank false, null false, validators, don't even include that. Maximum length 250, why not?
Well,
Char field,
make it an integer field instead, possibly.
uh, is it enter?
Integer field.
Integer field. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. And you don't need a max length anymore for that. Uh, yeah, you can make a default if you want, blank false, no false. Yeah,
All right, and what would I return here?
you would return well. Yeah, you can return level. I mean,
Could I?
for the
This is
class,
telling me return can be used only within a function.
yeah, for the class, yeah, you're gonna do a def dunder string function and return it in there.
What is it, a call?
str, yeah.
What does it
Self,
take?
self, and then you can just return level self dot level.
Boom. Notice I'm not trying to get too fancy. I just want to say, hey, can I do this somehow? Right? You could have even hard coded it even, right? Now in serializers, right? Let me look at my move serializer. This is my move serializer, right? So I'm going to follow something very similar to this. Level serializer, right?
Yeah,
Level serializer, and then what?
just ID and level in the fields.
So you're saying this?
Yeah, and then
That's it.
change the dot models to dot to level up at the front your imports.
Like this?
Yep.
And delete. Oh, this is confusing. All right, so let's look. So I created models. I created serializer, right? Don't need this. Boom. All right, I have models. I have serializers, right? What else do I need?
You're good. Well,
I'm good.
you gotta add
Now
it
what?
to. Well, you got it. Well, I guess we're not adding it because
We can. Where do you want to
yeah,
add it?
Well, you can go in Pokemon and then you can do the level app from level underscore app dot serializers import level serializer.
This?
Yeah.
Why is this not throw? Cannot be resolved. Level up. Oh, that's because rename. Oh, sorry. Level up. Let's try that. Okay, that works.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I made it. Now what's left here?
You can just copy the same thing that you did there and change it.
Level?
Levels,
Yep,
and then just add it to the Oh,
that works.
yeah.
How can I tell I did it right though?
How can you tell you did it right?
Yep.
Well, you can do two things. You can do the make migrations and migrate, and then you can go into the PSQL and check it, or are we using PSQL on this one? I don't know. Or you could just go to you can add it to the admin section, and you can do a quick call, a curl call on it. You can do it many ways.
Okay. I have the API running and I have the container of the database running. So let's rebuild that. So how would I do that? Python manage migrations, would that do it?
Yeah, but you're gonna have to add it. You're gonna have to add level app to the admin and the settings apps, or the apps in the settings .py file for the main project.
Ah, good. Good call. All right. So I am going to
Here
give
it
me a
is, right?
second.
Yeah.
Settings here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm missing what?
Levels underscore app.
Level app, right?
Level underscore app. Yeah.
Level app. Boom. All right. Boom. Now what?
If you want to also see it in the admin, you can add it there as well.
Don't need admin. I just want to ping it.
Okay, yeah. Well, now you can just do make migrations.
Manage
Mhm.
py make. There you go. Make migrations, right? Make migrations and then migrate, right? All right. So that was right. Okay. Cool. What happened?
So what happened is we didn't actually create the app using the Django, or using the Python manage. Wait a minute, Python manage start app, and then creating it that way. I don't know if you can create it by hand like that.
Cameron, I can't tell on my side, but are you
Yeah,
in a virtual environment?
you can't create it by hand like that, because it doesn't put all of the Django creates a folder and subfolder structure for you with everything already in place with
All right.
the
Give me the command.
so it's Python manage start app. Oh, it should be managed py, right?
Manage py. Start app.
Start app, yeah, and then level app.
Level app. Right?
Yeah.
Nope.
Are you in the right folder?
I think Art had.
No, I'm not. I'm not in the right folder.
Yeah.
All right. This.
Yeah.
All right. Let me rename this.
Yeah, because it's going to complain that it's already there.
Yep. I'll just call it Daphne right now. All right. Let's try that. Couldn't import Django. Are you sure you're not installed?
Uh, do you have a Vim? Is it all in your Vim?
Nope. So what do I have to do?
Pip installed the Django.
No, I have to create a what first?
Oh, virtual environment, yeah.
Source. Okay, we're good.
All right,
Now I can do, what was it?
manage, there you go, yep. What is it complaining about now?
Complaining about no module named level app.
No module name level app.
Every time I've created a new virtual environment, I got to reinstall the Django junk.
Pip install Django?
No, I think it's just because some of your models are calling level app, but you don't have one because you moved it to level app 2.
Uh-huh.
So it's
Mhm.
probably saying that it can't find that level app.
Is it gonna complain if I move it,
That's a good
Cisco? Let's try. I don't actually know. We're gonna find out. All
Heck.
Yeah, it's
right,
just weird though. It still should create the app. It's not like you're trying to run the application right now, right?
So would you just have to find where you're calling level app and change it to level app 2?
would that work?
I don't know, but I'd try it. Where is it? It's managing
Or just comment out left every every place you got you're calling level app. Just comment it out and
yeah, just get rid of
All right, let's try this. All right, let's try it. Nope.
don't forget your levels serializer
Uh,
right there under Pokemon. And then levels up, yeah, the field name.
field name.
Yeah, the levels field name you got there. You might complain about that as well. I don't know. It's just
it. It was
said
level before,
that
so
was leveled.
Yeah, this should be fine.
yeah. What's it saying? So
What does it say here? Users, utility executed, config, app config, oh, registry, GCD import. Sorry. Yeah, it's a whole lot going on. Module level app. They're still complaining about level app.
This should be fine though. I think level app. This should work. Level app. Yeah.
Internet command line, Python, manage the PY. Start. Hmm.
All right, how about this? Let's try, just call it level app 2. What? Is that what I called it? Oh, try level app 3.
Where else did we put level app at?
What the heck?
I don't know.
uh,
Let's try
Okay.
pip install Django.
I think it's in there.
Yeah, it's in there.
yeah, that's strange. I don't know. It's like
All right,
it's
give me 1 second then. All right. How about this? I got you. No, it's still gonna read it, right?
Yeah, still gonna read it.
Yeah, it's still gonna read it.
What if you put an underscore in front of the name
What do you mean?
and the folder level app too? If you just put an underscore there in front of it,
What is that supposed to do?
doesn't that like keep it from well, for one it won't, well, yeah,
It's not gonna match the name,
right, it's not gonna match the
but I
name.
don't think that that's. Let's try it.
Still complaining. I wish it would tell us where it's looking at, where it's finding level app. Installed apps. Oh, so your comment, so I think the comments don't work for the settings.
For settings.py.
Yeah, when you're actually going inside of,
You
you
might be
just have
right.
to
Let's try
delete
that.
that completely away.
All right, let's try this again. Last time.
There you
Okay,
go.
there you go. Jesus.
What the heck?
Yeah, I've had that happen. I just
All
forgot.
right. You're not the only one that forgot. I also forgot. All right, so here we go. Let's try that again. We're gonna do what? Level app, right?
Hmm.
Level app. Boom. So that's right. Gonna get rid of this. Can uncomment this now.
Hmm.
Uncomment this. Boom.
And
All right.
rename your folder.
We're gonna rename. No,
No,
models.
yeah.
I'm actually just gonna steal
Just gonna
this.
copy that. Yeah.
And then serializer. I'm gonna steal this. There we go. All right, so I copied that. Serializers. Okay, boom. Done. All right, now what?
Now you can do your make migrations and migrate.
This will work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and level from level.app cannot import name level. From models. I'm sorry about that. From level app serializer, import serializer, models import level. So the issue is here.
Yep.
Models import move. Import move. Let's try to put them side by side.
The only thing I noticed is just the defs, your def string. Go down, scroll down to your def string definition.
Where?
Down to your dunder method, to the string dunder method. The only thing I see is, I don't know, yours does highlight in red. Okay. Turn self dot level. Yeah, I do not.
Level app models. Okay, level app models cannot import level.
Yeah, I don't see any. I don't see anything wrong right off the top of my.
It's going to be a typo probably. Models import level. I forgot to save it.
Oh, it didn't say you don't have
It,
auto
it
save
didn't
on?
save. Yeah, I didn't save. All right, let's try that again. Okay. Doom. All right. Connection is bad. No name, no server provided.
Okay. Do you have to do your well, you did the migrations, but do you have Docker Compose up?
Uh,
Have you started up the containers and stuff?
Docker PS. Let's look. Pretty sure I have. Let's try that. Yeah, they're up.
Huh. What happens if you do Docker? I mean, sorry, what happens if you do Python manage run server?
Python manage.py run server.
Yeah. What is going on with your connections? So your connection self database connect params.
Let's not do the commands together. Let's do one by one.
Okay.
Python manage.py. Let's do just make migrations, right?
Yeah.
And then we'll migrate after. Yes?
Yeah.
All right.
No server name provided. Huh.
It says no changes detected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are I haven't seen those. Database connection, default connection is bad. Check
What would be
your
the easiest way to fix this here? Can I just build Docker Compose build up and redo everything? Would that help?
maybe. I was gonna say just stop everything on your Docker and start fresh.
All right, rebuilt
That
everything. Do I have to make migrations again?
yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yes, you do.
Make migrations. Nope, still getting this error.
Mm-hmm. So it's something going on with your database connection.
How would I check?
You can try to log into it.
I'm going to destroy the containers and rebuild them once,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're going to try this again. If not, I'll go ahead and check. And this might do the trick actually. Give it a second. I'm just going to destroy everything, rebuild it, try one last time.
Yeah, I had similar. Well, I had issues talking about the database wasn't found under the name. They gave
Mhm.
me the default name, and then it gave me the alternative name that I had used. So I had to actually go into my settings.py and figure out, make sure all the database names had the same name.
Let's see. Postman. See if I can ping this. Oh no. Getting a 500.
Pokemon down.
Yeah.
Hey, Kim, I'm sorry if I missed this, but you definitely have your Docker desktop running.
Yeah. Okay. We found the error. What is it?
It's not matching anything on the Pokemon instance. So that would be
What does
inside
that mean?
that's inside of your Pokemon models setup, right? You don't have anything referring to levels in your Pokemon model .py, I assume,
Okay. So where do I go to fix it?
to your models, Pokemon
Where?
app models.
Pokemon app models?
Mm-hmm. All right. And like moves, we're gonna have to do the whole many to many field thingy. And you have level there, but it's just we can do a moves equal models many to many field and place level
Where?
right at under moves right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can just copy it and just change that to levels, many to many field level. You have to import
This is
levels.
levels.
Yeah, and then you
And
have
I'm
to
going to
import
import
levels.
what?
Import level.
So it's going to be this.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be from level app dot models import level,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Let's try that again. I should get a different error if I fix this. I shouldn't get the same error, correct?
Right.
Okay, perfect. We'll try this if I know this is getting long. I'll cut you loose and I'll put the answer in the questions in just 1 second. This will be the last attempt that we do it. But does everyone see what we're doing?
Mm-hmm.
Right, we're literally just adding, and I would try to run this after I cut you loose, try to build it out, and then do exactly what I just did. Add something to it, right? And you know what I would also do? Once you add something to it, do a double nest. See if you can get it to work. Make sense? We only did
Yeah,
it once, but there's nothing stopping you from doing it again, right?
got
And when you
you.
structure like complicated data, that's going to be actually very common, right? So give it a shot. Make sense?
Yeah.
Alrighty. So this is exactly what you're going to be doing. If we can't get this to work, it's going to be the same thing. Oh, last thing I forgot to mention. If you decide to copy this repo, remember you're going to need to do a Docker for your API. It doesn't come with one. Day 9 of the Pokemon branch does not come with an API. It comes with your database, but you need to create an API to interact with it and then launch both of them from your Docker Compose. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't show you that, but that's what I noticed yesterday when I was looking at it. All right, let me ping this. It's not going to work probably. Yep. All righty. We'll stop it right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what was my, so I got past that error, but now I got this. What does this mean?
It's saying that the ID, saying that level app level ID and level app level from level app does not exist, or the relation is wrong.
Where's that error coming from?
Walk it up. Serializers, it looks like. Serializers.
Which one?
Packages, site back serializers. Scroll up. Scroll up a little bit. Is there anything else? Field name, representation attribute, framework, serializers, views. Oh. Is it in the views then?
Where?
Uh, let's see, which views is that? Scroll back up again.
Mhm.
Framework views. Decorator.
Oh, here.
Relation level at character at Python site. Pokemon. Oh, Pokemon app levels. Where? So it's not finding anything within your. Yeah, it got to be the Pokemon views, I think.
Pokemon,
Views.
which one specifically? Pokemon app?
Views.py.
Views.py?
Mm-hmm. So, you got to place another. Do you have to place another? Do you have to place another mini true there, or do you only have to place it one time?
Where? Which line?
Wait, right there, the Pokemon. Were you doing the get all? The get? Yeah. Do you have
Oh,
to?
no,
No. Okay.
no, because our moves, our level is under Pokemon Serializer, right?
Right.
So
Okay.
this is bringing everything in.
Right. Okay. Scroll down then. And serialize JSON. It's got to be where. So if level is in request data, level up, okay, and that shouldn't change. Is there anywhere where we're calling for moves? No, there's not.
Let's look at that error again. This is telling us what?
Pokemon levels ID equals 1 limit 21. Type packages you choose. Level app level does not exist. Unidentified table. Oh, the table hasn't been built?
What? You're really close.
Yeah, SiteCog is saying the unidentified table relation level app level does not exist. So there's something wrong with our there's something wrong with the models. So
Yeah,
we don't have a we don't so we don't have a
you got it.
we did create a levels model, didn't we?
Yeah,
But
but it's not where.
it's not inside of the database.
Yes, that's the error. So how would you fix it?
Okay. So yeah, you don't have any data. You can create a new
It's not in
level.
there. Yeah, you can create a new level, right? You can do it in the setup file, and then
Mhm.
you can go into the database and check it's there, and then you can run it again,
Right.
right? Right. But right now you created a model, right? You created an app, right? But you're trying to
Mhm.
pull something that doesn't exist in the
That doesn't
database right now.
exist.
That column does not exist in this database,
Right.
right?
Right.
All right. So that's kind of the problems that you're going to run into here shortly. What I would do is I'd probably just add it to the database first. That might be easier.
Mm.
Make sense?
Yep.
All righty. Questions about nested serializers.
Nope.
I would get something really, really simple to work. Once you get that to work, I'd nest it twice, right? You can do Pokemon, move, and then a move can have like a special power or something. Or you know what? The move can have a type, fire, water, electricity, whatever.
Okay.
That's what I would do. So you
Gotcha.
kind of understand the flow of it. Make sense?
Yeah.
Alrighty, I'm going to pause it here. Definitely take a break. I know we ran kind of long there. How do we do with nested serializers and nested models?
Great.
Figured it out, Cisco?
Yeah.
What was the biggest problem?
Nothing.
Excellent. That never happened. Nice job.
Yeah.
How about,
Yeah, let me show you what I got if you
yeah, for
want.
sure. Yeah.
Here. So, so yeah, so I just went with types like you asked, and let's see here. Let me get my bearings. I just went with types. Created a type app, and then I actually added a lot more to it. So I create the model, and I even put in a function for name change of the type, and then I created the serializers just using ID and name, and I even created the URLs for all types and selected types, and then the views, I created a views for it with get post and get post for all types, and a get type, get put and delete for the selected types. And then I actually added it into the moves. So within the moves model, you see here I added the types many to many field, and didn't really add anything else into that. And then the serializers for the move serializer, I added the type serializer in there, added types to the fields, and I actually have a create method that actually adds new types to the moves as well. And let's see, I don't think yeah, let's see if I changed anything in the views. I can't remember. Yeah, so I added the types to the get. So when you request a get for the moves, it will actually add the types. It'll grab all, well, it'll grab the types that's from the serialized move data and
I'll
show
grab
the
the type of the move.
right. It'll
Yeah.
grab the types. And from there, I just I added a fixture to actually create some new moves here. So I got my types JSON in there, and I added two types, elemental and mental, as the types. And then I just ran my migrations and everything. And actually, you can see everything here with all Pokemon. It actually have them listed with the types inside of the moves for these two moves. I only have two moves selected. So, but this is a electric move. And so of course I just created a type of elemental, and for the psychic, I created a type for mental. And then if you go here, just select moves, and it shows there as well. And then in here, in the admin, I even created the admin so I can actually add new types, and I don't know what to call it. I'll just say wind. I don't know. But yeah, I can create new types there. And in here, you can actually see that it has the types added there, so you can select whichever type of move it is. That's that.
That was perfect, Cisco. Nice job.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know if anyone can follow that, but where are we, Art? Art, sir, where'd you end up? This mic's probably having problems. How about you, Nicole?
I was still working through it because I had stopped to get some food.
No worries. No
I
worries.
went all the way, but I'm just working through it. So far so good though. So
All righty. Good. That was a really good demonstration, Cisco. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So
Updated or deleted elsewhere in our API. The only thing that this is saying is, hey, just don't use this
Hey,
entity
Art.
stuff. Another
right,
end.
can you hear us?
Yeah, he's been having mic issues.
Okay.
He'll figure it out. All righty. Let's look at the challenge that I had. Actually, I don't even looked at. All righty. All right. So at the end of today's lesson, can you guys see my screen or no?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. All right. So at the end of today's lesson, once you work on nested models and nested serializers, right? There's this Cars API team challenge. Let's go through it. It's a team challenge, but I kind of want you to do it by yourselves, but we'll talk about it here shortly. Okay, so this is your assignment. Once you're done with the nested models and nested serializers, I think it's important. So you should try to run it at least, you should run through it at least once and make sure that you understand it and then move on to this assignment. Because this doesn't necessarily even have to be started today. We started tomorrow, and that's fine. Okay, so the Cars API. Over the next 3 days, your team will implement DRF API for the Cars database. I am going to say go ahead and try to do this individually. This isn't very hard, right? And we're going to walk through the steps of how you accomplish this. All right, so you are going to implement the DRF API with the Cars database schema. So you don't even have to create the database. It's already created for you, right? It's the Cars one. This one right here. And it populates, if I remember correctly, yeah, this script, I think, populates all the data, right?
Mhm.
I think I want to say it does. Anyway, so it's going to populate your database along with some data. So this is already created. You don't have to build it. You just have to run the commands and ping it, exec into it and make sure everything's there. And if you doesn't have anything in there, create one car. That's it. All right. So you're going to create a DRF API for the Cars database schema. Your goal should be to adhere to the specifications as closely as possible. Your API should be able to perform all the CRUD operations. Since you have 3 days to work on it, it would be worthwhile to work as a team. But again, I want you to do this individually, simply because I don't think it's very much work. Because the Cars database schema you're not creating, we already have that. So what's really the only thing you're creating here?
The only thing you're creating are the
They give
only
you
thing,
the Cars database schema, so you're really only creating what?
the
This is
the API
yeah,
for it.
that's it, the API for it. All right, let's get you started on this so you know kind of where to go. So I'm going to walk through kind of the beginning or how you start this, so no one feels lost once you're done with the current assignment. Okay?
All right.
So let's just start this together. All right. So let's say you already worked through nested views. So now you want to work on the assignment, right? So here we are, CD nested views. I'll just go back in here. So you finished with nested views. Now you want to work on this. What's the first thing you're going to do?
Make a virtual environment.
Yeah, you could, but not quite.
Go through those questions.
Yeah, but these are for like group, and I told you to do it individually.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you always want to start with what you know, but for the sake of this exercise, right, I'm going to kind of walk you through how I would do it.
Okay.
All right.
Well, yeah. So my first thought is basically what API data do we want to present? So I think that's the first thing I would ask myself is what.
Yeah,
what
but
do I-
that's the one thing you're creating,
Mhm.
right? We don't want to create it right off the bat necessarily,
Okay.
right? What should we do first? Like literally, you just got this assignment. No one's looking at you. No one's in the breakout room with you. What are you going to do?
Look at the data.
What data?
Or I guess look at the schema.
Okay, let's start there. All right, so you get this assignment. All right, we are going to create a DRF API for this database, right? So let's go to Cars database. This is exactly what you're going to do in this order, right? This is my database.
Right.
Cool. I'm going to clone it, right? Get clone. All
I
right,
see.
I have Cars database, CD into Cars. All right, I'm inside Cars database. Let's just walk through the example. And what do you think is going to happen right now? I am going to do what with this database?
Well, you can build it if you want.
Let's go. All right, Docker build Cars. I'm just literally going to copy these commands.
Okay.
I'm going to copy this. Yes.
Yeah.
Boom. Then I'm going to run this image. Boom. Then I'm going to exit. I'm going to check, is my container running with the Docker PS, right?
Yeah.
CarsDB is running. Perfect. Now I am going to do what? This is my ID.
Yeah. Now you can
Docker.
actually log into it.
Yep. Docker exec. IT. I'm going to exec IT container ID bash. I copied my container ID. I copied my container ID. I believe that's what it is. It ends in 7.3. And then I'm going to do bash. I'm going to go into that specific container, right?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay, it looks like I am at that container. Now I am going to, from within the container, access the Postgres, right? Boom, I'm in there. Now I am going to do what? I'm going to run the script. It says if you want to directly connect to the container using your host machine PSU, you need to do this, but I don't necessarily need to do all that. Right here, what do I want to check? I am inside my database. What do I want to do here?
Do \DT
To check.
if they're there, your car model, user profile, user advertisement. So your tables are there.
Okay, perfect. And I can actually even look in here. I have this script. I have this README. I have init. It looks like it's got a lot of data. What do I want to run then?
You want you can run a SQL command to select anything from any of those tables.
But shouldn't I run the script to populate my my database?
Oh, I thought you didn't do that already.
I don't think so.
Okay, no, you didn't. Okay, I see. No.
So it's this command, right?
Yeah.
All right. So if I run this, is this the right place to run it?
Yes, you can run it there.
Okay, I'm going to run this, and this is going to do what?
Well, actually, you gotta have to go back out and run it because you're already in the PSL. You're already logged into it. You can take that out, I guess, and just maybe run the command or the script from there. I don't know.
Okay. Well, we're going to figure this out. How do I back out? This is the database. So how do I?
Is it /Q or is it exit? It's one of the
The
two.
Q? All right, it is Q. Right. So now I'm at the container bash shell. I want to do what?
Just paste that command in there.
This?
Yeah.
Let's see if it works. Connection refused.
Server is running on host. Is the server running on the host? Is DT connection? It's here. Oh, it did say from there you can run it. So
All right. So when I go back in there, I'm going to go back in cars. Right. Can I run this script to populate my database?
Yes, you can. There you
Let's
go.
try it again. All right, that ran. How do I check?
Yeah, you can just do select all from one of the databases.
From about car.
Yeah.
This should give me.
There you go.
All right. Was it Control D? Or is it \Q? There you go, \Q. Okay. It's not clear. \Q. Or is it exclamation mark clear? I forget what it is.
Oh,
How do you
backslash
clear?
Q. Oh, clear. I don't know how you clear.
It's C. Is that what it is? No, I don't even know. All right. Anyway. All right. What did I prove just here?
You prove that you're up and running with data already in the database.
Perfect. What would be dope now? And I can exit. Okay. Docker PS. I am going to check that what is running.
You got your DB running and
Got my database running. This is exactly what you're going to do. And it's populated with data. Awesome. Now, what do you want to do?
now you want to start going into
Would you want to start your virtual environment and install Django?
To do what?
So that you can start making your I guess cars app or cars project.
Okay. Yes. It can be a variation of that. All right. So let's go from the top. You're going to clone the database repo. We did it, right? Get DB up and running. Prove it works. All data is populated, right? Cool. The very next tab can take a lot of different forms, right? You could start doing, what was that, Nicole?
Create your virtual environment
And start doing what?
and then install Django and then create your project.
Right? Or you could also do what? Your inclination is right, Nicole, but you could also do what else? Doesn't necessarily have to be that step 3. You can create a what? Because ultimately, you know you're going to have to create an API and the database, and they both have to be.
Docker Compose.
There you go. Or you could create Docker Compose with just the DB and get that up and running. Because eventually, what do you add to this Docker Compose?
You'll add your Django containers and API. and all
Your
that.
API, right?
Or-
Right. So you can go either of those routes. So you can start creating, or you can start with your Docker Compose, right? Eventually, you're going to have how many containers?
2.
You will end with 2 containers within the Docker Compose, right? You're going to have your database container and
The API one.
API container. And they're both going to be able to talk to each other, right? So the only last thing to do is use Postman to what?
To test it.
To test all your test spread. More or less the steps you have to follow. And the reason why I kind of want everyone to do it by themselves is because you're not, what are you creating? The database is created for you. You're literally just creating a Django API. That's it. And then you're writing a Docker Compose. That's it. There's really not much else to it. Once you get that, you could just get Postman and you can just ping all your operations, make sure they work. I would build one route out first, and then the second one, and then until you have all the full functionality, right? But nothing stops you from building out just a get route and launching your container and then building your Docker Compose that only has a get route. You can do that, and then you can add the rest of the routes. Make sense?
Yeah.
Alrighty. So this is roughly what you're going to do in whatever order that you see fit. But you're really just creating a DRF API. For right now, I know that the little GUI is nice, but I would try to use everything via bash file, via terminal, via Docker Compose if you possibly can. The GUIs are nice, but right now I feel like you guys need practice with like the raw commands as opposed to using the GUI. Not a big fan of the GUI early on. Questions about this assignment?
Nope.
Pretty straightforward, yes?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mentioned this last time, right? But you don't, this is what you should do more or less, right? But you could easily create, I don't suggest you do this, right? But if you're still having trouble building this all out in your mind, you could easily containerize, an API that just returns strings, doesn't even reach a database. I know I've talked about start with what you know. If you didn't really know how to work with a database, you could easily try to create just a DRF API with just returning strings and then see if you can ping them. And once you do that, right, you can try to connect a database with one item. That's kind of an unorthodox way to do it, but nothing stops you from doing that. I know I showed you just a Flask API that just returned a string. You could do that.
Okay.
I think everyone here is probably past that. But when I teach some people how to do APIs, sometimes I teach them that way, especially if they're having a hard time understanding exactly what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Questions about that specific assignment?
Nope.
Everything should launch with the Docker Compose, and you should be able to ping all of those, all your CRUD routes with Postman. That's how you know you did it right.
All right.
All right. So order of business right now, after I cut you loose, is work through that nesting. If you can get it to just work once, perfect. You can move on to this specific cars API assignment. Yes?
Yeah.
All right. Get to it. How do we do?
Well, so far so good. Yeah, still creating the API models and stuff. So
Are you doing all four
yep,
CRUD paths at the same time?
yep.
All righty. Nicole? Or Art?
Yeah, same here. I'm kind of building. I wouldn't mind if you popped into my breakout room after we finish this up, just to make sure I'm on the right path, because it seems like it's a lot of work building this up. So I mean, because we're creating a serializer, updating the URL, creating a URL, updating all that stuff, and it just seems like I just want to make sure I'm on the right path.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'll jump into your breakout room right after this. Nicole, how are you doing? Might have stepped out for a little bit. Cisco, do you have yours loaded up?
When you say loaded up, as far as the database and stuff running, I got the database running, but I haven't completed the models yet to show the API stuff.
Can you show us where you are at the moment?
Okay. So, yeah, so I mean, I got the database up and running. I was just making all of my models and the connecting the dots, with each of the models. And right now I'm on my last model, as a matter of fact, the car model. But what I've done here, I have the advertisement model based off the schema. I got a foreign key going to user as the schema shows. Basically with advertisement, it only has uh it only has, well, three technically that you have to write. The advertisement ID, of course, is going to be auto-populated. Then I have the user profile here. Actually, let's see. Yeah. So I got the user profile model all done, and it has a one-to-one field going to the user with the primary key. The primary key from the user account ID is true. So to make sure that every user profile is associated with the primary key of that user, got the street name and everything for it. And then here is the user model. It's got, first name. There are no user model has no no relations. It has a relation with advertisement, but advertisement points to the user model account ID for many to one to the account ID. So and then I have the advertisement one up here. As you can see, this advertisement, where is it at? Oh, here it is. The car ID, or I'm sorry, seller account ID points to the foreign key of the user account ID. So then the car ID points, it has a foreign key going to the car, which I just created. Why is it? Did I finish it? Yeah, I finished it. Oh, I named it. There we go. Okay. So back to the advertisement. So now it's showing up. What did it show here? There's some kind of glitch here. But yeah, so the car ID is pointing to the foreign key of the car ID. And this is just junk that shouldn't be in here. But yeah, and once I finish the car model one, I plan on just kind of, hopefully I can run it and get it to set up to connect with my database and be able to, oh, well, I got to create my endpoints, of course, to be able to look at it and see what shows up.
How did you know how many models you needed?
Well, there's two ways. One is looking at this here. And this kind of what I kind of referenced this. I just had it pushed to the side and I just kind of referenced it as I went along, and I just tried to mimic it as closely as possible. You see these this information here. And you can see it shows the references or the relations, right? So I tried to, make sure I mimic that with the Django's syntax or the Django's way of doing it. So, but that's how I knew. I just basically went to each of these tables and looked at the fields that each of these tables have and just recreated it in the Django.
That's exactly what you should be doing,
Mm-hmm.
right? You don't have to overthink it. They're there for you, right? Django just, what does Django do to these models?
Well, Django just Django pretty much uses the same. It makes the calls or parses it and makes the SQL calls for you and basically interacts with these models exactly the way they are intended in SQL. So it basically does all the SQL commands and queries and everything for you.
Yeah, they mimic, right? They're identical, right? This is just written in Python,
right?
But they mimic all the tables, right? That's why you're able to grab all the specific rows and columns, right? Very good. That was excellent, Cisco. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any questions about any macro level questions of where you're at right now for this project? Everyone should be building up the API. The database was pretty much given to you, right? And then you can use that in SQL to build your models. And if you have to do that first, or you wanted to do that first, exactly how Cisco showed is the right way. That's the way that I would do it. I'd literally just pull it up to the side and then just create the models that way because it tells you exactly what you need.
Yeah. There she
Makes
is.
sense?
Yeah, yep, it does. Now, as far as the Docker Compose, there's only one micro level thing. With the Docker Compose, we actually don't have to. We don't actually. Do we have to create a API service, or do we just use the DB and connect the cars DB, the current cars DB, to the DB portion in the Postgres information for the environment? Is
No,
that
you
all we?
definitely need to create your API.
So we got to create the API
You could just call it web. That's typically by convention,
okay,
right?
and then
And it's going to be off of the manage.py file, right?
right. So
Dependent on DB.
dependent on DB. Got you. Okay.
I could post an example in the questions channel. I'll actually post the example there. That way you don't get too confused on the Docker Compose.
Right.
Yeah, let me look at, yeah, I'll just edit it and I'll call it cars DB or something. Yeah,
Okay.
that works. I'll
Thanks.
post it in the channel. That way you guys can work off of that.
Yeah, that'll help.
Alrighty, work a little bit more and then we'll wrap things up. I'll go ahead and post this in the questions, okay? I'll jump into your room in a second, okay?
All right.
Just let me. All right, guys. Did anyone finish by chance?
No,
That's okay if you didn't.
no, I'm close. I got my first endpoint. Well, I got my first model and endpoint and serialize and view and all that stuff, but I haven't ran it yet. So yeah.
Good. It's a 3-day challenge, so it's okay if you obviously you haven't finished. So tomorrow it's very similar. We deal with nested objects, right? And then a continuation of building this API for the cars DB. So it's well, the challenge is the same. You get more time to work on it. And then the only other lesson is just nested objects, which is very, very similar to what you did. I think it talks about overwriting some of the serialized data as well, which does happen as well.
Okay.
What was the big idea for today? What's the importance of efficient data organization and why is
Well,
efficient data organization important?
well, for one thing, it will actually you can design it. You can design it more efficiently and productively. It'll, I believe, it'll also allow it to allow you to do testing and debugging more efficiently, and it'll also help with, creating with scaling and making updates to it down the road.
Yes. Main idea for today, efficient data organization. We haven't talked about it. I want to really talk about it at all. How a lot of data ends up being stored in data lakes or data warehouses, and some of it is structured, some of it is semi-structured. Some of the stuff is being queried repeatedly, some of it is never being queried, some of it is being stored um, in temporary databases that eventually have lifecycle policies, and after 30 days of non-use, it moves to like a glacier state, and the rabbit hole goes really, really deep. But the idea of efficient data organization and access makes it really important for actually the two reasons that Cisco said. Scalability is a big one, right? User experience and querying their data efficiently, not only so the user's not waiting for it or whoever queries it, but also because it's a lot cheaper. And something we don't talk about that often, although I try to bring it up as much as I can, security and permissions, right? When you have really well-structured data in your database or in your data warehouse, it makes querying easier and it makes granting people permissions of least privilege a lot easier. If you have a giant S bucket with just a bunch of unstructured data that doesn't follow any kind of pattern, one, how are you going to query it? Two, how are you going to grant permissions to people? that only need access to a very small sliver of that data. You can't just give everybody access to the whole bucket, right?
Right.
Then I'd be able to see that my coworker, Steve, right, has cancer and has been using his insurance. That's kind of a dark example. I don't know why that came to mind, right? But there's no reason why I should have access to that.
Yeah.
Or something as easy as people's social security numbers that I work with, right?
Right.
Question, Art.
Gary, you talked a little bit about cost efficiency, so we don't have to pull as many API requests with organized data, structured data. But is cost mainly based on requests and not necessarily data size? So like I can pull like 5 gigs of data down from API, but it's only counted as one request.
Both, because you're using storage and compute.
Right.
So it's twofold.
Gotcha.
Which
Okay,
is
thank you.
which is interesting because initially I started to do my personal project on a AI chat app, right? And I started thinking about it and I was like, I don't know if the free version of Amazon will actually allow me to, because we do have to, we are supposed to upload it to Amazon, is that correct?
Your personal projects, yeah, they're deployed
Yeah.
on AWS.
So yeah, so I was like, well, I don't know, depending on how how complex I try to make this thing, it may not be able to run,
Make it
depending on the
really
compute power.
easy. That's a
Yeah.
really common problem we see in our personal projects. People's scope gets too big, and then
Mhm.
they get down to the crunch time, and they end up building something not as good had they just started with the minimum viable product.
Right.
I think people get like delusions of grandeur and think they can build this really amazing thing, and they start building it, and then they realize, one, I don't have the time, which is a really big thing. And two, a lot of the times run into problems that they can't solve efficiently. I gave you that example about that team that ended up using local storage because they couldn't figure out their application data needs, right?
Yeah.
That's a bad way to do it, right? And if you try to explain that that was your solution to a technical problem you faced, that sucks. That
Right.
just sucks. That's not going to look impressive in an interview. You were better off going with something simpler that you executed properly, right? There's something more complicated that you couldn't answer.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another thing. I even researching the APIs, I've been trying to steer clear of APIs that have limitations on the amount of calls you can make, you know, or how many you can make per month.
Yep.
So, yeah. Well,
Or you could do is you could test on a couple, and I did this. I'm gonna actually turn off the recording here, but then I'll wrap it up here in a second because I don't know how copacetic